Who's dating? Oh, dating. Those days are over for me. The amount of times I said, but this guy's different. He's the one. He wasn't the one, he was just one of the ones. So this is a series I call Dating Disasters. And because I've lived in lots of countries, I have a lot of stories from boys from different cultures who were all wrong for me. But my first boyfriend was actually very sweet. So I think maybe we'll talk about him. I was 17. I just wanted to get away from my mother. She was very strict. My mother, she was hardcore. Mum wanted the best for her daughters, and she said to me, quote, "You're not allowed to date until you have your PhD." Well, I evacuated the country. She asked me, if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be? Where would you go? The first thought that came to my mind was Brazil. I mean, Brazil. When you think of Brazil, what do you think of? I know what you're thinking of. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking of. So I thought, I want to go to Brazil. I think of Carnival, all those beautiful bodies, shaking it up, having acai bowls, and Ipanema, walking around with a bowl of fruit on my head, and the sunshine, because I need the sun. I don't know about you, but I need the sun. And I need the beach. So I was like, yep, sold. And I said to her, I want to go to Brazil. My mother looked at me and she said, nope. You're going to Switzerland, which is not quite what I'd imagined. But bottom line was, I was getting out. You know that movie Get Out? It was like that, except I was getting away from the black people to the white people. So I arrived in Switzerland. A big part of wanting to get away was to get to my people, to find my people, because I lived in New Zealand, and even though New Zealanders are my people, they're not my people. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go somewhere where I blended in, and Brazil felt like, I've blended in there because I look Brazilian. And when I finally did get to Brazil, 200 years later, the next century, people thought I was Brazilian. People would come up and say, "Bom dia, gostosa, tudo bem?" And I'd say, "Hi." But when I went to Switzerland, not so much. Switzerland is very white chocolate. But people were so lovely, so kind. My host mother would just feed me whatever I wanted. My host mother taught me about comfort eating. Yummy. Because I was homesick. I was sad. It was cold. It was snowing. It was so cold that you couldn't even see where the sun was in the sky. And I was turning whiter by the day. People say, you don't get a tan. I do get a tan, but not in Switzerland. Switzerland was literally on the other side of the world, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak the language. They don't just speak German, they speak Swiss German, which is this really messed up variation of German. High German is very strict, and it has we think of German as being this very angular language. Guten Tag, wie geht's dir? Ich heiße Sheba, ich komme aus Neuseeland. But Swiss German is a whole other thing. So I'd studied some German. I thought I was in the game. I was not even in the game because they were speaking Swiss German, which was it's like kind of learning, Australian English if you'd studied the Queen's English, right? So they were all coming at me with, Grüezi miteinander, wie geht's dir? Ich gut. It's this weird, a mash-up language. So I was like, I think I'm just going to drown myself in cheesecake. And I was looking for love in a strange white country. The odds were against me. But there was a light on the horizon because I heard that Guns N' Roses were coming to Switzerland. Now, Guns N' Roses was my jam, and I'm not ashamed to say. I was a full-blown Bogan because we lived in a small town in New Zealand. I'd lived there for 5 years called Palmerston North, Palmy Army, shout out. And that was my jam, and it was, it's kind of teenage angst and, appetite for destruction. That was my tape. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to go to Guns N' Roses concert by myself because